Welcome to Armstrong High School for playoff football, the Section 5 Class 5A semifinals. Today it's the St. Louis Park Orioles paying a visit here to the top seed, the Armstrong Falcons. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Joe Basil. And Joe, it's almost like early September instead of late October weather here for these teams. A little bit of a breeze, but great temperature. And let's talk about these two teams. Armstrong started out 6-0, really riding high into the top 5 in the rankings, but then lost their last 2 regular season games. They've had a few injuries. They're trying to get their mojo back here in this semifinal game.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, you can always find out, as you said, started out like gangbusters, and you can find out a lot about your team. We talked to Coach Nagan, and I asked him if this is the team. He goes, well, it's a team, and he thinks they have a pretty good chance to make some noise, in the tournament. And you can find out a lot about your team when things go with a little bit of adversity. So we'll see.
St. Louis Park had to play a quarterfinal round game as there are only 5 teams in this section, but they were in the 4-5 game, and that might have been a good thing for them. They came out and got a nice win against Southwest, their 3rd win of the season. There's always that debate, is it better to have a bye or better to get some confidence and momentum, and they're hoping that is the case, that they get some confidence and momentum.
I think it was really important for St. Louis Park to have that game, Jay, and get that game under their belt and pitch a shutout against Southwest. We talked to Coach Foster. They're young on the D side, but they're hungry, and they run around, fly around, and hit people.
Let's talk about key players to look at in today's game, and we're going to go with defense in this one. That's always a big factor at playoff time. And Armstrong throws the ball well, so defensive end Joey Falzone is a guy who's been a disruptive force for the Orioles. They're hoping he can do that today.
Yeah, and one of the stats I know that Joey has is 6 sacks. That'll be very important today if he gets around that left or right tackle or whatever and disrupts that high-flying Armstrong offense.
And for the Falcons, they've got an experienced linebacker core. We're going to talk about one of those backers, Henry Smith. 6'2", 240, that's pretty well an optimal size for a high school linebacker, and he plays like it too.
That's the one thing I've done with you. I've done 2 or 3 of the Armstrong games this year. Been really, really impressed with their linebacking core, and he's one of their stalwarts there, and I'm sure he'll play a really, really important factor in today's game.
Armstrong, I think after the great start, they certainly had dreams of going a long way, and we talked about they sort of need to regroup, and I think it's high school kids, you have to really remind them, though, we can't overlook this Park team. They're 3-6, but if you expect them to lay down for you, you could be in for a surprise. Jack Negan even mentioned that to his team.
Right. Well, full disclosure, Jason Foster, the head coach at St. Louis Park, is a good buddy of mine. He'll have his team ready. We'll see what the result is, And, if Armstrong's a little too much, but, that's why you play the game, right? And but St. Louis Park, as Coach Nagan said, don't overlook them.
Should be an interesting contest here today. The winner goes to the section final next Friday as Park and Armstrong prep football here in the Section 5 5A tournament up next on CCX. Cade Bird kicking off for Armstrong and puts that one about 5 yards deep into the end zone. So the Orioles will get first possession here, and they're making a change at quarterback to begin this second playoff game as their middle linebacker, Zach Helfman, will be moving into the quarterback slot, and Stefano Giovanelli, a great receiver who's been playing quarterback, going to be playing more of a receiver spot today. He may get a little spot duty. There's a look at Zach. So they're kind of going with all hands on deck here as this important playoff game heats up here. Zach Helfman under center here for the Orioles. First down handoff, and spilling forward is Jimmy Hager for a couple, maybe 3 yards on the play, as the Orioles trying to get their offense going. And Coach Foster, he said it jokingly, but he was serious at the same time, as our best idea for today is to keep that Armstrong offense off the field. We need to get some first downs, sustain some drives.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what he's going to try to do. Try to set that up with the run game a little bit, maybe with some short passes. There goes another run. Start things off, and about halfway home here. Third and about 5, I think, Jay. 3rd and 6.
Langdon College going low there to take Hager after a gain of a couple. So 3rd down and 5, as we said, for St. Louis Park opening possession. If you look on paper overall season long, you'd say Armstrong a heavy favorite, but then they said coming in with a couple losses in a row, and St. Louis Park may be building a little momentum, so we'll see how this one goes. Fake the toss. Elfman rolling to the right, being pursued now, throws on the run, and he's got Giovanelli, and he might go tiptoeing down the sideline. This one's going to be a touchdown. Wow, Helfman kept the play alive, and it'll be a 75-yard strike there to Giovanelli on the first pass attempt of the game, and Park leading it now 6-0.
Wow, that was quite the play by Helfman. I thought, on the move like that, on the run, coming on a sprint out or actually bootleg pass, and then hitting Giovanelli, who is obviously their home run guy. And he came all the way from a crossing pattern, and once he gets the ball, he puts on the Jets. What a confidence builder, too, huh, Jay, for St. Louis Park right out of the blocks.
Benishek on to attempt the extra point here, and Armstrong having to feel a little bit stunned there. And honestly, even halfway through that play, they were probably thinking they had things pretty well contained as they chased Helfman out of the pocket. But he stayed with it and really threw a strike at midfield, and then maybe a little overcommitting in the secondary there. They didn't play the angle on Giovanelli, and then he was gone.
And as you mentioned, too, the patience of Helfman, I thought, as he extended the play, and then showing some really nice arm strength, because he kind of had to throw off of his back foot there, and he found the right guy. And
that did not look like a quarterback who hasn't been playing regularly, did it? I mean, he had good poise here.
Not at all. Not at all. He really did. And as I said, spot on. And no, that looked like a quarterback that's been playing for maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and we saw it again, and not to pick on the Falcons secondary there, but giving up the completion was one thing, but the way they just overran it so badly, that left him open field as he turned and caught it, and he still had about another, 45 yards to go or so there. They still could have made a play, but instead didn't have a very good angle on him at all. They keep this kick low on the ground, fielded on about the 18, and look out, up the sideline. Isaiah Cotton nearly broke that one. Obviously, he wasn't the intended guy that they wanted that ball to be kicked to, but he did a heck of a job getting up the field, and just for a split second, it looked like he might go all the way there.
I thought so, too. I thought he was going to get loose on the sideline there, Jay. And I think with that ground ball kick, they're obviously trying to keep their deep guys from hurting him and giving him good field position, but it almost backfired against the Orioles on that.
There you see what Jamin Malone has done this year, 3-year starter at quarterback for the Falcons. And here we go from the 41, and nothing doing on the first down handoff to Reggie Carter, who was nicked up a little bit, so didn't play as much last week, but he said, Coach Negan said he's pretty well ready to go now, and he was trying to talk his way into playing full-time anyways. I'm okay, but they knew he wasn't running quite at his best. So back to Carter here, and look out, he's into the secondary, and he should have a first down there before he's wrapped up by William Kasica there for the Orioles, but it will be a first down, gain of 12 here for Carter and the Falcons. They've got a good offense.
Yeah, it was really the same play, the motion coming back the other way, kind of the half motion, and then Carter again.
This time we'll pick up 2, maybe 3 on the play. The Falcons running a little bit of up-tempo offense here as we see the student section there and look at the lineups. Armstrong's offense on the right. They've had some shuffling on the offensive line. Part of it's for, a good thing. Luke Pappas coming back off injury, but they've had to shuffle some positions around a little bit. This time it's Malone keeping it and brought down there by Henry Bendixson, but Malone will pick up the first down inside the 25 the 35 down to about the 34.
And I think that was run all the way by Malone on that one, Jay. It looked a little bit like an RPO, but basically I think he was going to keep it.
Yeah, it's kind of almost an option thing to keep him honest. This time pitching to Carter, and there's plenty of room out on the edge. Carter then knocked out of bounds. Looks like he might have another first down.
Late flag, Jay, coming in from the back judge over there. Yeah, there really was nobody over there that time on the option pitch.
I thought I might have seen a hold by a receiver. I'm not sure if this could be it, but or did we have a late hit perhaps here? We'll take a. It is a hold offensively. Yeah, I believe J.J. Wilson, the receiver, had a little grab, and I was watching that out there. He's out right at the top, and he gets a pretty good hold. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a good call. I was watching through binoculars there, and I thought, oh, he held that one on a little too long.
Yeah. Yeah, he had him for quite a while over there. Freeze play, famous air raid freeze play to see if the D-line will jump and give him an easy 5.
From the 32 here, it's actually 1st and 8 now. Malone looking, now going to step up and fling it long for Tucker, and it is a touchdown.
Yeah, great job by Tucker to hang on there, because actually the D-back wasn't in too bad a shape on that, Jay, and I think right at the end they're trying to knock the ball loose, but Tucker did a heck of a job of hanging on to that football.
Tucker's had a great season for the Falcons. Waiting for that one to come down, as obviously by that time it was kind of a scramble situation. I mean, the original route had probably run its course a little bit, and then Malone just put it up there and gave him a shot. Here's Cade Berg on for the extra point, and Armstrong answering in the way they were hoping for after the Long Park touchdown.
Big drive by Armstrong, and as you said, an answer, because I'll tell you what, Armstrong goes 3 and out or whatever. That's going to give St. Louis Park even a little bit more confidence, but now we're back even again. We're back level at 7-7.
A good late try there by Mason Amos to try and break that up. He did the right thing by going at the body of Tucker after see if he could jar it loose, but Tucker, as Joe said, good concentration to hang on, and he's got himself a 32-yard touchdown reception there as they answer the St. Louis Park TD.
Cade Berg is quite that. I remember doing a couple games with you earlier this season, Jay. Cade Berg is quite the weapon for your defense here. He usually kicks it out of the end zone, and the other team's offense has to set up fairly deep, although this one's maybe a little shorter. Maybe I jinxed him.
Yeah, returnable from the 2 here for Amos, and he is brought down just over the 20-yard line.
Just got a little under that one, I think. He's really got quite the explosive leg, though.
See, Marquand Tucker, great speed guy and leading receiver for the Falcons this season.
I remember last year's game, which I just attended as a fan. St. Louis Park hung with these guys for quite a little while, some turnovers back and forth, and Armstrong pulled away late, but think the Orioles, they're going to get the Orioles' best game.
Hager running off left side here for St. Louis Park, and gain of about 5 on that first down play. 10th touchdown catch of the year for Tucker, by the way.
Yeah, nice job by the left side of that Oriole line. Take 5 yards every time.
Helfman will turn and hand off to Hager again, and this time going nowhere. Look at the starters here. This time held him to a gain of a yard, maybe 2. So a third down, and last time Park on a third down play, Helfman scrambled and then found Giovanelli, what turned into a 75-yard touchdown. Drops, throwing over the middle here, and it's intercepted. Nick Brandner with the pick for the Falcons. Kind of threw that one to him there. Helfman putting it into the middle of the field there, and I don't think he saw Brandner at all. Threw that ball basically right to him.
Yeah, I don't think he did, and maybe on the replay we'll be able to see. I think maybe he was kind of looking for just a kind of a little look into his tight end possibly here, and little play action, but yeah, the ball floated on him, and Brandner takes care of it. This is the kind of thing that, and it's early, but this is the kind of thing that could definitely get St. Louis Park in trouble.
Third pick this year for Brandner. Option left. Malone's going to cut it up, and he keeps the legs driving. They're ripping at the football, and then Jamin Wisely getting down at that point as he had a host of Park players tugging at the ball. About a 13-yard pickup there. He's a guy that, can run. They don't necessarily look for him to run as a main part of their offense, but obviously showing he's capable of doing so right there.
Very much so, and I think that's been, since last year when I've been doing some Armstrong games, that's kind of been the evolution of his game, Jay. He's doing a nice job.
Pitches to Tucker here, and another pretty good pickup here as they'll be down near the 10.
And it gives the defense certainly one more thing to think about when your quarterback can tuck it and run like that. And it's a little thing, but he also does a nice job running this option game too, looking the pitch right in, because that can be problematic at times too.
Yeah, you don't see nearly as much of the option offense with the pitch back anymore, but here's Carter taking the handoff. He'll get the first down. It'll be first down and goal to go.
Yeah, just grinding it out there towards the end zone. And as you said, sets up a first and goal.
So they're just at the 5 now, first down and goal. Back it goes to Carter, and closes quickly there. Or maybe get a couple out of it.
A nice job by the interior line of the Orioles on that one to keep him out of the end zone. Got one-on-one with Cade Berg and Tucker on the near side, and there goes Tucker in motion.
Malone's going to keep it. Malone getting to the edge. Woo, he got rocked. That's going to be a penalty, though.
It's going to be a horse collar, I think, Jay. Prevented the touchdown, though.
Well, and the other thing, half the distance from the 2 isn't hurt you that bad there.
No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. I'm not talking about a lot of yardage there, because he was heading in for sure.
Yeah, indeed is a horse collar tackle there.
It will give them a new set of downs, though, I think, right, Jay? I believe.
Yeah, it should be first and goal, yeah. To Carter, and he will walk in for the touchdown as Armstrong able to finish the drive after the interception. by Brandner.
Yeah, the defense doing a good job giving the offense a short field, and they knew what to do with it. And here comes Mr. Explosive Leg into the game.
Berg on to try and tack on the PAT. Oh, the snap gets away. It's Brandner, and he's in some trouble now, and he's just going to spike it. So they'll stay at 13-7.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that becomes a factor as the game moves along. Yeah.
The look is good blocking, allowing Carter to get in. Drew Kempel was in there as a tight end, got a good block. And Armstrong gave up that big play defensively, but I don't think offensively they have any reason for concern or doubt so far here. It does, and in the early going, look like they're probably going to be able to put some points up today.
It looks that way. They seem to be kind of reading the body language a little bit. They seem to be very confident. Why wouldn't they be? They've had, as we talked about earlier, they've had a nice year, a couple little hiccups here and there, but they're playing very confidently. And except for that first home run that the Orioles hit, they're doing right well.
Giovanelli and Amels waiting back deep for the kick from Berg. His first one was a touchback. Second one was to about the 2 and returned. Gonna boom it here. And I really think on that last one, you mentioned got underneath it, but I also think there might, it seemed like there's a possibility that sometimes you're trying to pin a team deep and say,
right,
we're going to be greedy and not even give you the 20. But
right, exactly. Yeah, and that certainly could have been that way. And you notice they're also not kicking to Giovanelli's side, which is probably smart. That's good special teams work right there. I wouldn't put it in Giovanelli's hands either. He's got some pretty top end speed. And the other thing the Orioles are trying to do, which they're doing on this particular play here, they've got Giovanelli one-on-one out here.
Helfman faking the toss, looking toward Giovanelli. He's going to throw it up and almost brought it in one-handed. He's out there with a good corner in Cotton, but that is a tough receiver to cover one-on-one, and the Helfman gave him a shot at it.
That's a good battle, huh? That's a really good battle between Cotton and Giovanelli. High school-wise, I don't think you're going to get too much better. And I just had a feeling when I saw the one-on-one out here that St. Louis Park might be coming that way. No reason to panic yet for the Orioles here. Maybe get back to the run game a little bit, work a little clock.
Hager taking the handoff here, and he is stacked up after a short pickup. Yeah, he'll get about 4 on the play. Actually got a little more than they at first thought.
Yeah, they get pretty good push. That left side of the Orioles line is doing a real nice job here today for St. Louis Park.
3rd and 5 now for the Orioles, so he'll get 5-yard credit for 5 on that last play. Elfman's going to swing it out quick. Giovanelli trying to get to the outside and nudged out of bounds here. He'll be short of the first down after actually only turns out to be about a 1-yard gain, it looked like. Or maybe 2. He made a pretty good move even to get that much, but
he did.
Just too many defenders had an angle.
Yeah, there was one other receiver out there doing some stock blocking for him, and then he kind of had to, shrug it off himself, and didn't quite get there.
Helfman is the punter as well here, and I suspect that's what's going to happen here, is that he'll probably punt this ball away, maybe, or try to draw him offside. It's a 4th and 3. Yeah, he's dropping back into more of a punt depth now.
Not very deep, though.
Ooh, he gets it out of there. Cotton was late to go back to return. He will get a chance, though, from the 30. And Cotton getting it upfield. Cotton just tripped up as he crossed into the Park territory and then tripped up around the 39-yard line. So Helfman, a good punt, maybe almost outkicked the coverage a little bit, if you'd say. And
I was just thinking the very same thing, Jay. Actually a really good punt, but then there's the other side. And Cotton is such a dangerous return guy. You know, as we said earlier, almost broke that kickoff return. And yeah, I mean, you just kind of hold your breath. He's quite the return guy. And
that was even more impressive when you consider that he was up defending a receiver near the line of scrimmage, and then I think the word came from the bench that, hey, they're probably going to punt this. So he was like scrambling back into position as the ball was punted. Malone spinning out to his left, now throwing for Tucker, and it's intercepted. Out of bounds with it goes Amos, but nice job to undercut that route. And Malone is picked off there by the Orioles, Amos. So
yeah, quick change, quick turnaround. And as we said, you know, don't overlook the Orioles. I mean, they're gonna hang in there. And we've been kind of mentioning his name here and there, Jay. He's a nice little player for the Orioles. Does a lot for them. Special teams guy, defense.
So the teams have each picked off a pass here in this first quarter. Orioles ball at their 17. Oop, dropped by Helfman. He picks it up, and he's just going to try and get what he can here up the sideline.
Yeah, that was looking ugly at first, but he actually, I think he got a couple positive yards out of it. It was looking not so good at first. Not sure if he took his eye off of it, or I don't think the snap was all that bad, Jay.
No, I don't think so. And he kind of a linebacker-like ending to that one as he threw a little bit of a shoulder in.
Yeah.
And I think the Armstrong guys, as they walk past her, say, okay, if that's how it's going to be, then we're going to rock you and knock you out of the, you know, they kind of backed off there because,
he was going out
to get a flag. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Right.
I always, and it's different for a guy who is a linebacker, but I feel like you can't have it both ways. If you're a quarterback, you can't say, I'm going to throw a hit at the end, but expect not to be hit in that situation.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. You can't have it both ways.
There's Jason Foster, third year now as head coach, and been around the Park program for a while now too. And as you said, Joe, a guy that you know pretty well.
I do know him very well, and one of the really, really great guys in the coaching business. And had been a DC forever and ever, and had been OC the last couple of years.
2nd and 8. Helfman looking deep toward Giovanelli again. Matched up with Cotton. Was it a push off? Maybe not. Giovanelli is going to trot in for another touchdown. This one 81 yards as they take advantage of the one-on-one coverage. There was definitely a bit of a nudge, and there's some Armstrong fans that were groaning about it, but it looks like it's going to stand.
It sure does. I don't see any yellow laundry on the field. And, the St. Louis Park people are saying, wow, that was quite the adjustment by Giovanelli. And the Armstrong people are saying, wow, that was a crazy push-off. Yeah. Well, as I said, last year's game, you know, Giovanelli, he's quite the home run guy.
He's in there at quarterback now, slinging it over to the edge, and that one goes nowhere. Armstrong snuffs it out, so Park trying to go for 2, but instead will be stayed at 13. And in some ways, I'm a little surprised they would. Not sure, you know, the thinking on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that says something of, you know, confidence in their kicking game, Jay, or I'm not sure, because if you had any type of kicking game at all, nothing wrong with being up 14-13.
Another look at that play. Is it a good adjustment or a push-off? Again, it depends on if you're wearing orange and black or red and white.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see right here. Oh, it's just very subtle.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the you know, super obvious or whatever, but Helfman's got a fairly strong arm, though, doesn't he, Jay? I mean, he gets the ball, 50, 60 yards in the air, whatever. I mean, he does a nice job. And not always from what you would call a great balanced quarterback position either. He's just got a strong arm.
And, having not seen St. Louis Park earlier this year, you'd have to say the switch has been a good thing. It's not even so much about getting Helfman in there at quarterback as getting Giovanelli back out to that receiver spot, and that's shown up about as big a way as possible here today. Yeah. All he's gotten is a 75-yard touchdown reception and an 81-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah, and one of the mantras of offensive football is get the ball in your most explosive offensive player's hands, and boy, St. Louis Park is definitely following that rule today.
So tied up at 13 in a pretty wild first quarter. Still over 4.5 minutes to play in this first period. Armstrong hasn't had the same big strikes, but their offenses look relatively unstoppable so far too. Pitch back going to Carter. And again, plenty of room to run. Carter breaks a tackle into the secondary, and he has a chance. Carter turns on the Jets, and he'll go. Touchdown, Carter. 66-yard run.
Well, there's the answer, and they're sticking with that option game too, Jay, and why not? I mean, as I said, they're definitely collapsing that side over there, and maybe being outmanned, outnumbered over there, and St. Louis Park just couldn't come up with the answer, and plus you got the speed of Carter. Wow, he did turn on the Jets there for those last 10 or 15 yards.
Yeah, because at about the 20-25, I was not necessarily thinking he was going to go all the way there. There were certainly at least two guys who had what should have been an angle, but he was just playing faster than them. And Berg knocks the extra point through for the Falcons, and they will go up 20-13.
Well, that's just what you want too, isn't it? From when the opposition gets a long touchdown, and just come back on the very first play, and yeah, you're right. The St. Louis Park defenders, I thought he just outran the angle there, Jay.
Yeah, see, well blocked, and there's Tucker, receiver, getting a nice block out there too to help string that one. But yeah, I think when I'm watching film, the safeties for the Orioles are going to realize we underestimated his speed there. That one should have been at least an opportunity to nudge him out of bounds, maybe at the 15 or 20, but instead he just blew by them all.
Right. Yeah, at least get him to huddle up, line up, and do another snap, but it wasn't to be.
Cade Berg will kick it off. And it's going to be into the end zone again here, so St. Louis Park will start from their 20. The third touchback already for Berg here today, so St. Louis Park now, the question becomes, can they keep answering and answer each other back and forth here? As you look at Jack Negan here, and he said, he was interested to see how his guys will respond. Losing a couple games, everything's flying high. You're looking like one of the better teams in 5A at 6-0, but they play a tough schedule too. I mean, most of the teams that they play are a team that, if you're not ready on a given night, could beat you. And same is true with St. Louis Park's schedule. Right.
Yeah. I mean, St. Louis Park, like we talked about pregame a little bit, they've got the Waconias and the Chaskas. That's not an easy schedule either.
Hager taking the handoff, trying to cut it up. Whew, he got rocked good there by Kempel, pursuing from the inside out there. And once Hager kind of stopped his feet and went to cut up field, he was smoked pretty good there by Kempel, but still did get a decent gain of about 3.
Yeah, and again, I think that's all you're trying to do, as we talked about with Coach Foster, just trying to run a little bit of clock, keep it out of the explosive offense of Armstrong's hands a little bit. Hager, picking his way, but Kempel, wow, scraping down as a good linebacker would, and really put the wood to him.
A little bit of a low snap. Helfman forced back. Now just tosses it. Ball is on the ground and then picked up. They're going to rule this an incomplete forward pass there. That one didn't look too good from the start. Helfman had to go down to get that one. And I'm guessing the coaches right there say you got to be a little more careful with this ball.
Yeah, that play did not look good right from the beginning. Although the DN for that's Henry Smith, who we talked about. He really forced that play and forced that angle for the pitch. But
boy, it was hard to tell from there. But I'm not so sure that was a forward pass. They might have gotten a little bit of a break to have that be an incompletion.
Well, it definitely was forward. There's no doubt about that. And whether it was a forward lateral or a forward pass, but obviously they judged it as a forward pass.
Helfman faking now, being pursued and rolling, looking downfield again, and what a great throw, but incomplete as it's popped out of there. Cotton stayed with it. This time Amos was a receiver. And another very accurate throw, though.
I know, right on the money again. He loves rolling to the right like that on the move. And Amos, I think, had it for just an instant there at least. He just couldn't take it to the ground and keep possession, Jay.
Yeah, Cotton did a good job of staying with that one. And he kind of played through the hands there, even if it looks like he's catching that ball.
Right.
So Helfman looks like he'll be dropping back into punt formation here. Cordell Wilson and Isaiah Cotton drop back deep here. So the Falcons get the stop they were looking for, although there was nearly another big hit there for Park on 3rd and long.
I remember Coach Nagin talking about his corners. He just loves his corners, and why not? They just
Smith almost blocked that one. And it'll spin out of bounds at about the 39-yard line there. Falcons nearly got to that one.
Well, they sure did. That looked like it was blocked all the way, I thought. Helfman did a nice job, though, Jay, of directionally punting away from 2 really dangerous return guys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, to start the game, they felt pretty comfortable with Cotton and/or Wilson being one-on-one with anybody, but 2 long strikes to Giovanelli. I wonder if Armstrong, if that'll change that thinking a little bit.
Yeah, possibly. And even that one to Amos there, was pretty close to a completion.
From the 40 now, 1st down. Armstrong, Malone pitching it out to Carter. Carter getting to the edge, breaks through a tackle, and out of bounds he goes inside the 40. Be a pickup of 21 or so here for Carter, and Armstrong looking difficult to stop here for the Orioles. They have just struggled to get off blocks, and I mean, this is relatively simple play, and if you're Park, you have to be a little concerned how much you're getting gashed on plays like that.
Yeah, they're just getting that edge both ways now, left and right.
Malone looking deep toward Tucker. He's going to throw it for him, and he's open. It's a touchdown. 40-yard perfect strike. Jamin Malone to Marquand Tucker.
Again, putting it right on the money. And Tucker gaining separation there right at the end of the route there, Jay, and for 6 points. Beautiful, beautiful ball.
Once you drop back, I was kind of watching Tucker all the way. And, Malone was confident that second move was going to break him free, and he just laid it up there perfectly.
He really did.
That's a throw that anybody on Sunday would love to be dropping it in there that nicely, honestly.
Yeah, no kidding. This is your classic post route. And Tucker really shining again in this game.
Good pocket to throw through there as well for Malone.
Really clean pocket. I didn't get. It's got to be either the left guard, probably the left tackle for Armstrong. I'm sorry I didn't get a number, but you're right. That was a very, very clean pocket.
So Giovanelli has a 75 and an 81-yard touchdown. Tucker not quite as long, but 32 and 40-yard touchdowns. And Armstrong has already put 4 touchdowns on the board in this first quarter.
Yeah. It might be kind of interesting if the Orioles would switch Amos and Giovanelli as he approaches the ball, but I don't think they're going to do it. Oh,
Giovanelli will get a chance from the 2. And never really got to get going. Berg, the kicker, was the first guy to get a hold of him there and then got help. He was just kind of slow playing that to try and see what would develop blocking-wise, and there never really wound up being a gap.
No, there really didn't, and then just kind of a red wave sort of took over there. I'm not sure if they had a middle return or left return, middle wedge. I'm not sure, but couldn't really get. Giovanelli couldn't stretch out like he would like to.
From the 17, Hagar takes the handoff, and he is cut down after a gain of a couple. And looks like he's a little slow to get up here. Courtney Dickerson made the tackle, and Hagar is going to limp off here.
Well, at least he's limping off under his own power. That's good. Hopefully they can take a look at him and then get him back in the ball games. Going over there, meeting with the trainer.
So Park now down 2 touchdowns. They've had 2 big strikes, but just haven't been able to slow Armstrong's offense at all. Handoff here going to Bendixson.
Nice little second down run to give you a very makeable third down. I'm not sure the Orioles, at least in terms of their run game, Jay, I know they've had the home run balls, but I'm not sure they've picked up a first down, just kind of grinding it out yet. This would be big if they could.
Back to Bendixson, and he's wrapped up right away. Good penetration defensively there for the Falcons, as Dayton Franke ranging over to get the stop.
Yeah, there wasn't much movement over on that left side that time, was there? I mean, they just couldn't. Just couldn't move the right side defensively of Armstrong on that one at all.
So 4th and a yard here for Park. They're only on their own 25 though, so be quite a gamble if they actually go for it here. We'll see if they're just trying to draw the Falcons off or if they might actually try. Again, Helfman is the punter too, so he may very well be looking to punt this ball.
And he better get it. Yeah, there we go.
Cotton.
Another directional kick.
Ooh, Cotton thought about running up to try and grab that one, but thought better of it, and it's down at the 40. So Armstrong getting another defensive stop here, and they get the offense back on the field. This has been one of the longer, I was going to say longest first quarter, but then you think of the Armstrong-Cooper game, that one might have been even more. Crazy amount of yardage and points in this first quarter.
I was thinking the same thing, Jay. I'm looking down at the clock. I'm saying, wow, there's a little bit ago. There's still 4 minutes left to go in the first quarter. And, well, the passing game will do that to you, though. Still plenty of time for Armstrong, though, the way they've been going.
And off to Carter. Bendixson will bring him down, but he picks up 6 or so on the first down run.
Yeah, certainly a nice first offensive play, 6 yards. Again, with a very makeable second down. This is an offensive coordinator's dream here. Anytime he has 2nd and 2, 3, 4, you can do a lot of things from here.
Carter over 100 yards already in the first quarter. Malone knocked away, and he's going to have to scramble. There's Falzone, and we talked about in the pregame, getting the knockaway as a slow developing play. They were trying to get Tucker, I think, coming out, and Malone just had it punched away.
Yeah, he almost looked a little, well, I think he was trying to, hit Tucker maybe on the swing a little bit there, Jay, out of the backfield. There's a little bit of a check down. He almost looked a little nonchalant. And then foul zone, okay, they got the pump fake. There we go.
That'll be the final play of the first quarter. What an explosive quarter. After one, it is 27-13 here in favor of Armstrong. We talked about the Section 5 tournament. Only 5 teams, and I'm not going to be able to hold back, Joe. 5-team section is ridiculous. The high school league needs to do better on some of their playoff setups. There's even ones that have 4 teams. So nothing against any of these teams or anything like that, but of course we got to get the playoffs cleaned up. Some of the matchups and some of the sections are so incredibly weak. It used to be difficult to get to the state tournament, and it still should be.
It very much should be. It should be real difficult to get there, and it should be very, very difficult to win a state championship. And as you said, 2 victories, and you're at state.
Next week, it'll be the winner of this one against the Cooper Washburn winner for the section title. So now a 3rd and long, 3rd and 17, one of the few times they've really been in a tough spot here. Malone firing over the middle, tipped and nearly intercepted.
Very, very close. In fact,
Suharek broke on that one and knocked it, and then actually the second guy almost had a shot at it as well.
Yeah, Bendixson almost came up with it, Jay. Just a little bit of a trap there, but yeah. One thing you don't want to be as a quarterback, you don't want to be late over the middle. And the Orioles doing a good job of defending that one. This could be our first punt by Armstrong today.
Yeah, Berg will be on to punt. Amos back to receive.
I'm a little surprised they don't have Giovanelli back there.
Berg punting into the wind here, and it checks back toward the line of scrimmage, and we're down at the 44.
Well,
so only about a 23-yard punt there.
Yeah, he didn't really get all of that. And Orioles in pretty good shape in terms of starting their offense here, huh? Right around midfield. You gotta like the field position if you're the Orioles, and you gotta like the fact that you finally stopped Armstrong. Their defense has got to feel good about that.
Do see Hager back in there in the backfield, so that's good. He was out briefly shaken up. Helfman firing over the middle. Ooh, and a big collision there. Defending there for the Falcons, Jack Neff. Trying to go to the tight end there, Kaplan.
A little bit surprised on that one, Jay. They put, I like the idea of putting Giovanelli in motion, and which they did, and Armstrong was clearly playing zone on that, and I thought they might, find a little hole in the zone with Giovanelli out there, but they didn't go that route. They went in the middle, but they were definitely not in man against Giovanelli on that one. I was a little surprised.
And a handoff to Hager here. Had a little room to go, and he's out just across midfield. So leave him with a 3rd and manageable here as he picks up 6.
Hager's definitely, I like Hager. He's a tough little runner in there. He's a grinder. You can, just love those running backs that just grind away and get 3, 4, 5 yards for your team. Just love that.
Helfman looking, now throws Giovanelli with the catch. He almost gave up the first down yardage to make that a big-time play, but I think he saw the stick there and said, hey, you know what, I better just get us forward as much as I can here. But a nice play for the Orioles.
Yeah, that was a very savvy play by the veteran Giovanelli on that. You're right, Jay. I think he was going to kind of retreat a little bit, and then he went, nope, let's get the sticks here and go 1st and 10.
Hager, Landon College coming off the edge, drops him immediately.
Yeah. College gets around I think it was, I don't know if it was Henry Eaton or Owen Weinkoff there, and College zoom right in, make that tackle.
No gain there, so 2nd down and 10 for St. Louis Park here. Trailing at 27-13 early in the 2nd. Helfman looking to throw. Giovanelli the catch, but there's Cotton getting on him quickly there, and will hold him to a gain of about, 4 or 5. Yeah, actually a little bit more. They give him forward progress to about the 37 instead, so more like a 6-yard pickup.
Really nice job by Armstrong on that, because they had their strong safety coming off the edge in a blitz package, and then the quarterback actually read that and went hot to Giovanelli, but Cotton comes up and replaces the strong safety and makes a really nice play.
Helfman throwing and incomplete as Teddy Dallin, he tried to get that one to him. It was actually a pretty good read to go there because Giovanelli was clearing out, but it was a little bit low, and probably still catchable, but lower than it should have been, and might not have been enough for the first down anyway. So they'll go with 4th down and about 4, and this spot on the field, I don't think this is a tough choice at all. You got to go for it.
No, I think, at this point in the game and this score being what it is, I definitely think you go here. And if you don't have the right play called, it's not a bad time for a timeout. They're kind of running around here a little bit. This is an important play.
Helfman faking the toss, rush coming, he throws and it has a completion. Yeah, nice job under pressure getting it to Kaplan.
That was a nice job by Manny Kaplan coming back for the ball. And I think Kaplan actually maybe just came into the game, substituting for Teddy Dallin on that, Jay, and did a real nice job, as they say, good possession receiver type play there by Kaplan, picking up another first down for the Orioles.
Football at the 23. Yeah, it's one thing to get those big strikes, but obviously that's, probably not going to keep happening all game long, or you can't count on it, but putting together a drive now. College on the stop of Hager, but another decent gainer there for Park.
And I think this is exactly what Coach Foster was talking about early in the game, Jay. Just wanted to control the ball a little bit, get some rhythm going, get some first downs, and obviously you want to score, especially when you're down a couple touchdowns like they are, but you've got to like the rhythm and the way it's going right now, and of course keeping Armstrong's offense off the field.
2nd and 6 from the 19 here for the Orioles. Helfman going to throw out there. Giovanelli spins to the outside, and then Smith able to bring him down at about the 15.
Yeah, there wasn't much blocking there. Giovanelli did that pretty much all himself, gave a nice little shoulder fake and then ducked back inside. He's a very, very nice receiver.
Be 3rd down and 2 coming up here for the Orioles. You don't want to put pressure on yourself, but obviously you see that Armstrong's been able to score on most of their possessions, so you're kind of thinking here, we need a touchdown here.
Right, we do. And let's run a little clock while we're at it.
Helfman throwing, and looks like it was complete. Kaplan catching that low throw.
I think the side judge on this side called it complete, and the other guy on the other side called it incomplete.
Yeah, it looks like now they're gonna go with incomplete.
Okay.
I think he probably did have it. Armstrong was trying to sell it at incomplete there too. Wasn't going to be a huge gain, but still. Yeah, it'll be 4th and a couple here for St. Louis Park. That was one where I think in the NFL, you would have probably seen Coach Foster throw a challenge flag because it kind of looked like he had his hand under that one.
I thought so too. I thought he did when we were going live there. I thought that was a catch. And that was Manny Kaplan again.
Yeah, and Kaplan kind of, as he was walking to the bench, was signaling to his coaches, I did catch that, but nothing you can do about it now. We don't have the. And in this particular situation, St. Louis Park wishes there were challenge flags, but I'm glad there's not. It's such a slowdown to games where you see that happening. And obviously we don't have, the same technology available at most high school games to make that really feasible either.
No, I'm pretty glad we don't have it in high school football.
Huge fourth down play coming up here now for both offense and defense, probably more so for St. Louis Park as they're down 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and a really nice, as we said, a really nice drive by St. Louis Park here, but standing in the way here in the face of it's 4th and 2, so see which way they go here.
They've been able to run the ball fairly effectively, but not easily enough that you'd say it's a sure 2 if they're going to hand off here. We'll see, though, kind of a power look.
Yep.
He's going to throw. Helfman firing over the middle, but it's short. Incomplete. He had Gio Bonelli not wide open, but with a little room, but I don't think that one was tipped. I think he just didn't get enough on it and kind of died into the turf there. Helfman wishes he had that one to do over again.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, nice little slant pattern by Giovanelli. Had the defender right where he wanted him to, and just didn't get. I don't know the way the ball was going though, Jay. I'm not sure. Maybe there was a little bit of a tip involved there, but again, going to the right guy, just didn't quite get it there.
So Armstrong takes over on their own 15, up by 2 touchdowns. Did get stopped last time. Malone keeping it here. Malone, here's Helfman, his counterpart at quarterback, playing in that linebacker. Makes the stop, but Malone should have enough to move the sticks here as he picks up 10.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe one of the differences between at least last year's Armstrong team is the ability for, as we said earlier, the ability for Malone to he's a pretty effective runner, Jay, and that's an ingredient, an aspect that's hard to defend.
Carter getting to the edge again. Carter then wrestled to the ground by Benishek, but another nice pickup here for the Falcons as he's out over the 40, a gain of 16 or so.
And a really nice block on the edge up by Drew Kemple on that one, Jay, to extend that play and make it even a longer gain than it was going to be.
Going a little fast here now. Here is Malone breaking through a tackle. Malone keeps his legs going, and he's out across the 50 into Park territory. He'll gain about 9 more.
Yeah, and there was a series or two where we hadn't seen, of course, a couple of the series they scored so quickly, but we hadn't really seen Malone run the football, but now their OC's going back to him with a lot of success here. And they've got a nice little drive going.
Kevon Johnson in the backfield now in place of Carter. Malone running option left. He's just going to take it and go. Malone, physical end there as Suharek makes the stop, but not until Malone will pick up 18 more, or 17 anyway.
Yeah, he's becoming quite the weapon. Oh, do I see a little flag on the field over there, Jay?
Oh yeah, there's going to be a hold against the Falcons, so wipe out that nice gainer. I did not see it way across the field there.
I didn't either at first. Then I still wasn't sure it was a flag on the field.
I think this is probably in a spot where it's a receiver again, way out on the edge. Going to be called for this hold.
Yeah, we'll see what we got here. Unfortunate for Armstrong. Really nice game by Malone on that. He was really rambling.
Yeah, might have been on the right of our screen there. Perhaps it's hard to say for sure. And here is Carter back in there, taking the handoff, cuts nicely, and will get the first down.
Yeah, they sure made that penalty up pretty quick. And at first, Carter came out of the wash there a little bit, and I wasn't sure it was going to be much of a gainer, but fast feet, good eyesight, and Carter's on the loose.
Park has got to be a little concerned how they seemingly are unable to get off blocks here. I mean, there's just a lot of room to run. Malone going to go a little counter look now. Carter, and squirts through there. It seemed like he was hemmed in, but he'll still pick up a decent gainer there of about 5.
Kind of the old counter tray there, Jay, on that one. You called it, and with a lot of success, and also Armstrong going tempo here, which makes it a little harder even for the Orioles because they can't substitute.
To Carter. Carter trying to break through. Helfman showing his strength by hanging on there, able to wrestle him to the ground and see if he's going to have enough for this first down or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure he made it, Jay. I don't think he quite made it there. Yeah, nice job, like you say, of Helfman holding him back.
Be 3rd and a yard coming up here for Armstrong as we're under 5 to go now. Second quarter not taking nearly as long as the first here, but Armstrong up 27-13. Back to Carter. Easily has the first down and more. And then finally brought down just shy of the 15.
Yeah, just kind of some big on big blocking there. And looks like number 78 is for Bam Bam Cole gimping a little bit over there, Jay. We'll see if he can hang in there. Left guard, I believe, for Armstrong. It's kind of hurting after that play.
Back to Carter, ball loose. Ooh, and it's scooped by the lineman there as Luke Pappas just catching that one in midair, and a fortunate one for Armstrong. They'll actually get about back to the line of scrimmage as Pappas showing some hands. He's the guy who came back. He was hurt most of the year, a really promising sophomore lineman.
Right.
And you see Carter right here. He has the ball popped out of there, and look at Pappas ready to grab it.
Nice athletic play by Pappas.
Option now, Tucker cutting it up hard. And he is thrown down, but he's inside the 10 to about the 8. He's going to be a little short of the first down, but a nice gainer there.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys they can go to, don't they? I mean, especially quarterback leading the way, and then you have Carter, doing yeoman's duty, and Tucker. They got a lot of folks that can tote the leather for Armstrong.
Be 3rd and 2 here for the Falcons. A power set look here. They'll go to Johnson on the handoff, and he will be inside the 5 and have a 1st and goal. Helfman making the stop there. But boy, when you're getting like 5 on a play like that, the defense has got to start to be getting a little discouraged here and a little tired, I think, too.
Well, yeah, exactly, Jay, and I think that's what the tempo's doing. And actually, they kind of ran away from strength there. They kind of ran weak side and still made money that time. Kevin Johnson, a 10th grader.
Malone keeping it. He'll cut, and he is going to get in for the touchdown.
Easily.
Malone, it looked like might have made the wrong read a little bit there. I think he could have gone to the outside, but still making the cut, and he gets in for the score, and Armstrong continues to put points on the board.
Yeah, I think it was blocked so well, Jay. He had kind of a two-way go there near the end of the run there, and hits pay dirt.
So after all that scoring in the first quarter, this is our first points of the second. Berg on for the extra point, but a flag down here. This one didn't get started smoothly. I think they'll probably have to try this one again, but let's see what the call is.
Motion penalty against Armstrong, huh? Yep.
I was trying to read lips. It almost looked like he might have said illegal snap.
Okay.
Maybe a little double clutch on the snap there. They're going to leave Berg on and let him kick. Just obviously the distance isn't an issue for him moving back 5.
No, not at all.
Ooh, big rush from the outside. I'm not sure if they didn't get a piece of that one, but it goes through anyway as Berg gets the conversion, and it is 34-13 Armstrong, 2:47 to go first half. Here's Malone right there cutting that one up.
Oh, and then a little help there, huh? From who's yeah, a little bit of help from Dayton Frankie there. A little assistance. You know, that's one that they're not calling anymore, Dayton Frankie. You know, the assistance by the O-line or teammates, right? Yeah.
I guess I'm not sure if the rule has actually been rewritten. I'm guessing it has because, yeah, they pretty much allow that now where that used to not be permitted.
Yep, not at all.
The push from behind kind of thing, too.
Exactly.
See what Berg can do going this direction. We do see the wind is making quite a difference. Amos will field it on the 16. Flag down.
Excellent coverage and by the Armstrong special teams. And Berg is always kind of, you know, he kicks off, but he's also a lot of times, you know, you'll hold your kicker back kind of as a safety, but not in the case for Armstrong. He's right in the thick of it every time.
See what this penalty is going to be here.
Block in the back.
Yeah, looks like it. Yep, yeah. Block in the back against the Orioles.
Well, if you're St. Louis Park, you at least want to pick up a first down or two and get in at halftime and kind of regroup a little bit. It's not going to be easy, though.
Yeah, and considering this field position, too, you don't want to give Armstrong the ball back.
Yeah, with a short field situation like they did on that one little look-in interception. I wasn't sure which team called. Is this just an overall timeout?
I think it sounds like we're overhearing from up here. It sounds like it must have been Armstrong that took the timeout. But
gotcha.
Which is a little bit interesting that they would have before the series started here. But
right. We just didn't have the right group on the field there.
Obviously, they'll keep an extra eye on Giovanelli here. That's been the one big offensive weapon for the Orioles. Is if you're just joining us, Giovanelli been playing quarterback most of the year, and he's going to be playing quarterback right now, actually, but he's been playing receiver today.
Yeah, he's under center right there.
Handing off to Hager. And a nice first down pickup here. This should be enough for the first down as he's out to about the 20. You know, Giovanelli's had a 75-yard touchdown catch and an 81-yard touchdown catch, plus 4 other shorter receptions. But now this time, and here's what Coach did tell us, and I think this is what happened. He said if Helfman is out there too long on defense, we might give him a little break, and then in that case, Giovanelli would move back to quarterback, and that's, I think, why we're seeing that here.
Right, exactly.
Hager takes the handoff there, wrapped up by Dickerson. Not nearly as much of a gain there, maybe a yard or two.
Armstrong with 2 timeouts left as well, so they stop the Orioles on this play. I would think you would see a timeout from Armstrong, Jay.
Yeah, Hager limping off again here for the Orioles. So Bendixson in to replace him.
This time Giovanelli out of the gun. 2nd and 8.
Fakes the handoff. Giovanelli rolling right and now throws, and that one incomplete in the general direction of Kaplan, but not close to. I think he was just getting rid of that one.
And that's as good as the timeout, Jay, right there.
Yeah, you're right. That really helps Armstrong in terms of clock. And
yeah, it looked pretty promising on that very first run. You know, they picked up the first down right away to kind of move away from their own end zone, but this is somewhat of a crucial play for the Orioles here to at least pick up the first down and get in at halftime.
3rd and 8 here for Giovanelli and crew. Fakes the handoff. Now runs right into the rush, and down he goes. Oh, ouch. Jonah Pappas was right there to lower the boom.
Boy, he sure was. Yeah, they kind of every pre-snap there, I was looking at Armstrong, and they were definitely expecting run. Everybody was kind of creeping up. And they kind of brought the house there, and Giovanelli paid the price.
Timeout was taken here, so they'll Falcons. In a game like this, you got to be greedy. Try and tack on another touchdown before halftime if you can.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you're right. You never know how it's going to go, or if another team gets hot or injuries. I mean, you just don't know. So, no, you got to keep playing. It's the job of the other team to stop you.
And especially too, you want to be ready for situations for next game, if there indeed is going to be one. They'll send Wilson and Cotton back deep. Helfman, who was getting a breather, I think, after playing linebacker on that long Armstrong drive, does come on to punt. So it does, it doesn't appear that he's injured or anything. That it was just a break, like Coach Foster had told us we might see. We appreciate his honesty, by the way. The fact that you know him so well, Joe, might help, but a lot of coaches would have tried to hide that. And this one's blocked. Falcons nearly got the last one, and this time they do get the block, and they'll have it at the 15. You're thinking, a decent punt return, and they're going to be in good field position. This is even better.
Yeah. And they've been close, a couple different times during the game so far. And this one, definitely got a hand on it.
Jack Bailey looks like he's getting the pats on the helmet there, 54. Let's see if we can pick it out there. Or was that Smith? Might have been Smith.
I think it was Henry Smith, who we highlighted.
Oh, yeah, okay, recovered by Bailey. That's why they were.
Yeah.
Either way, they were going to get the ball right there anyway. So at the 16-yard line here for the Falcons, minute 22 to go. They'll try and punch in another. Malone keeping it. Malone walking inside the 5 and finally brought down. It's going to be first down and goal to go, and it also helps them by, briefly anyway, stopping the clock with that first down.
Yeah, they really just haven't had an answer for Carter's had a big game too so far on the ground, but really for Malone, really haven't had an answer for the quarterback run here.
First and goal from the 3. Handoff going to Carter, and he goes backward into the end zone. Reggie Carter finishing the drive with the touchdown for the Falcons. And they are lighting up the scoreboard here this afternoon on their home field.
Yeah, they really are. A very opportunistic situation here, and they were going to be in good shape even with a good punt, but then they get the punt block and short field and take advantage of it.
Berg on for the extra point, gets this one away quickly and boots it through. And so with 58 seconds to play in the first half now, 41-13 Armstrong. Carter with his 3rd touchdown of the day.
Yeah, he knows where the end zone is, doesn't he? I mean, he's got a real nose for it. Great feet. Sticks his right foot in the ground, changed direction, and he's in pay dirt.
Good blocking up front. Lucas Nelson had a good block there, among others, for the Falcons, and their O-line has been good today for sure. I mean, they're just creating gaps. Carter and Malone have done a good job exploiting it, but they've gotten good blocking, and not even just the O-line. We talked about earlier, Tucker had a good block, and Kemple, when he's been in there at tight end, has had some good blocks as well. They're buying into the, all 11 are needed on any given play.
That's true. Yeah, that option game has been looking so good, and that's going to give, assuming this trend continues during the game, that's going to give whoever they play next really fits. Little pooch kick over here.
Amell's fielding it, and then a lot of red coming at him, and Has to eat that one at the 20-yard line. Oh, then a flag at the end. They're going to be a taunting, I'm guessing, here against Armstrong. That was way after the play. And that's not one that's going to please their head coach.
No, it looks like one of the assistant coaches was talking to I think Robert Rivera over here if it's against Armstrong.
Yeah, unsportsmanlike.
Not really what you're looking for in the waning moments of the first half, but
so it'll be out to the 36. Only 55 seconds to go here for Park. They do have Helfman back in there at quarterback, as we kind of figured.
And they got Giovanelli one-on-one at the top of the screen here. We'll see if they maybe go that way.
Kind of shading some help out there, I think, just as you were saying that a little bit. Helfman will hand it off. Hager trying to pick his way through. He's out over the 40 to the 41 and pick up of about 5. It looks like they're going to be content maybe to just head to the locker room here. I mean, if you break one, sure, but and Hager lost his shoe on that one as well.
Yeah, it kind of looks that way, Jay, that they're not really in any big hurry here. Got Giovanelli at the bottom of the screen this time.
And his shoe, he never did get it back on. They're going to have to sub him here. Hager was going to be running stocking foot there. And so Bendixson will come in.
Yeah, Bendixson, it seems to be.
I think if this was a closer game, you might see Armstrong grumbling that they were, getting a little almost like free time out there. But I think it kind of becomes possibly could be considered a safety issue a little bit, I guess. So
sure.
Officials said, no, you got to get off. Helfman wanting to throw deep for Giovanelli. Coverage is good and incomplete. They let him play on the one, so they're going to let him play here. And Cotton says, yep, good coverage there. There was a little bump, but I think it was a good no call.
Yeah, and it was really the kind of...
They might rescind that a little bit. But obviously after we saw the earlier one where Giovanelli might have gotten away with a little nudge, I don't think, a consistent call anyway. They let him play on both.
Calling it both ways. Helfman has been pretty accurate, though, on those long balls today, hasn't he, Jay?
Yeah, and Coach was telling us that he'd been a quarterback, most of the way through the program and everything. He was just hand off here to Bendixson. It's just that he's so good defensively, that it just kind of drew out that they were going to go that way.
And as I mentioned to you too, Jay, at the beginning of the year or over the summer, they really thought they had their starting quarterback. In a 10th grader in Declan, and unfortunately that didn't work out. Of course, he's a 10th grader, so the future will be bright, hopefully, for that young man.
So we reach halftime in this one. Armstrong, an explosive first half. Park made a couple real big plays early, but they haven't been able to hang since. 41-13 Falcons at halftime. We'll be right back here at Armstrong High School on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Welcome back here to Armstrong as the Falcons dance team on the field here at halftime. It has been a good first half for the Falcons football team. They lost their last 2 regular season games, but in this first playoff game, leading St. Louis Park by a score of 41-13. And sometimes in a game in the first half, you say, well, what are we going to find for highlights? You didn't really have that problem in this game. They were explosive plays pretty much right from the get-go.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah, starting with this one. Helfman rolling right. He's just about to be hit, but he'll get rid of it to Gio Vanelli, and he breaks through the secondary quickly there and down the sideline. 75-yard touchdown strike. Only about a minute and a half into the game, or less than a minute and a half in. It was quickly 7-0 Orioles. Armstrong didn't waste any time answering, though, as Jamin Malone will drop this one in. Marquand Tucker hanging on despite taking a hit. That was a 32-yard play, and it was quickly 7-7. And then an interception here by Nick Brandner, leading to a touchdown for the Falcons as they quickly grabbed the lead, scoring about 3 minutes after their first TD as Carter got his first touchdown of the day. And we were still only halfway through the first quarter at that point. As more activity here with a nice pick there. Amel's undercutting the route and intercepting that one. And here is another big strike. Gio Vanelli now. Did he get away with a push-off here? A little, maybe, but either way, it's an 81-yard touchdown from Helfman to Gio Vanelli. And at that point, Park was hanging right with Armstrong, but then they did not score again the rest of the first half. Meanwhile, the Falcons kept on dominating. This an impressive run here by Carter. He breaks a tackle here, but late in the play, I did not think he was going to go all the way, but he just really outran the angle. A couple guys seemed like they might have a shot, but no dice. 66-yard run for Reggie Carter. And still not done in the first, or here we had one more TD in the first quarter, then Malone getting in to begin the second there, or late in the second, as the scoring pace obviously slowed quite a bit, and then Carter will go in one more time for his third TD as we check out the rather astronomical stats in the first half. More so on the Armstrong side, but obviously Park as well with those 2 big passing strikes at 200 yards through the air. Armstrong, meanwhile, had 269 yards on the ground, 179 of that by Carter. That's amazing. So 341, I mean, those are kind of almost like full game type totals you look at. Armstrong had a few penalties, but other than that, they had a pretty sparkling first half. Well, we said the winner of this one will move into the section championship. And we now know the opponent. The game over at Cooper was an earlier start than this one, and the Hawks defeated Washburn, as I expected, 44-20. So it will be Cooper probably playing at Armstrong the way it looks here. Obviously, we've got a half to go. That's not for sure yet, but looks like we might see a Robbinsdale District rematch in that Section 5 championship. More to come here at Armstrong High School. We will be back with half number 2. Falcons leading St. Louis Park 41-13.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
And welcome back here. A sunny afternoon at Armstrong High School, and temperatures well above what you'd expect to see at playoff time here, as the Falcons dominating, especially later in that first quarter and into the second, leading at 41-13 after a couple of big strikes early by St. Louis Park. But Orioles definitely have their work cut out for them. For Armstrong, though, you remind you guys, you know, they got a couple big ones on us. You can't let up right now. You got to, finish strong and treat this one like it's a close game here to begin the second half.
Yeah, and successful teams are all about finishing, Jay. And you don't want to say that a a half of football hinges on a particular series, but if you recall, St. Louis Park had 4th and 2, and it was 27-13, and they go in there, and the game's still, pretty respectable, but ifs, ands, and buts, right?
Sebby Tangelson will kick off again here for the Orioles. He has generally avoided kicking the ball deep and spread the ball around a little bit and keep Armstrong guessing as to where it's going to go. Tucker is the middle deep back.
Yeah, I think I'd be kicking it definitely a little more towards the left side over here.
He's going to go deep with it, and we see the wind definitely has impacted how long the kicks are going in, which direction they're going. We had a wind from the south earlier today, which would hold with what we're seeing out here. So it'll be Armstrong football at about the 20. It's interesting that it just feels like everything's kind of quiet now. The crowd's a little dead, and Armstrong building such a big lead. But here's where you have to, still be businesslike and go out there and still be fired up and still get after it.
Oh, you definitely do. You got to cinch it up, and as we said a few minutes ago, you got to finish this thing off. And if nothing else, you want to have that momentum going into the next playoff game if you're Armstrong.
And they hand it off here on first down to Carter.
And you know what? If you're St. Louis Park, as we talked a little bit about, especially if you're a senior at St. Louis Park, and this possibly could be your last high school football game, why not finish it out on a high note?
Malone pitching, and it got away from him. Carter trying to get on it. And let's see who's going to wind up with this one. It might be the Orioles. It is. St. Louis Park will get the recovery as Bryson Huntley diving on that one. The pitch just got away from Malone. It was nowhere near Carter.
Nowhere
I don't know
near.
if it slipped out of his hand or I don't know. It didn't go smoothly, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was talking earlier in the game about, what a good job of pitching. Yeah, that one I'm not sure. As you said, maybe it slipped out of his hand. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but that was nowhere close.
And it looked like both Carter and then Malone had shots at recovering that one, but neither was able to squeeze it, and a nice job by Huntley getting on it. Helfman and company trying to take advantage as he rolls out to the left, and he's in trouble. College will wrap him up.
Oh, my.
And he throws it late. I think this is going to be his progress stopped in a sack, I believe. Yeah, they'll spot the ball where he'll be back at about the 36. Wow, loss of 15.
Yeah, that is exactly not what you're looking for. But what a great job by College, to get in there and pursue and hang on to what's not an easy guy to bring down in Helfman.
Yeah, they'll spot it on the 33 is where he first contacted him, I guess. Hager on the run here. Nice tackle there by Nate Albrecht for Armstrong.
Yeah, the Orioles come back with a little bit of a trap play there and try to get a little positive yardage, a little positivity going their way.
So they get the big turnover, but then going backwards so far, and they'll face a third down and about 20 or 19, they'll call it now, at the 30-yard line here. Even though they've got a long way to go, they've got to be 4-down territory with this score.
Oh, for sure. And they got a guy over the top of Giovanelli here.
Helfman rolling to his left, wants to heave that one. It's tipped in the air and falls incomplete as Jonah Pappas getting up to block that one.
Probably fortunate that wasn't picked, Jay, the way the thing was kind of tumbling through the air there at the last minute.
And you could see this one kind of breaking down here, and Pappas, number 9, getting up to make the block of that pass. So 4th and long now for the Orioles. Boy, this for Armstrong defensively, this would be, you give up the ball deep in your own end like that.
Yeah, this would be Yeah, this would be a huge series.
We got a penalty against Armstrong here.
Okay, there goes Cordell Wilson out on.
I have to admit, I didn't catch that one.
No, I didn't either. Not really anyone on the slot. Is that Giovanelli in the slot there? I think it is.
Elfman with a rush coming, throwing into traffic for Giovanelli. And incomplete as Wilson trying to pick that one off. And now bring up 4th and 9.
Yeah, throwing right into double coverage there. I don't blame him for going to that guy, but double coverage, that probably should have been an interception there by Armstrong, Jay.
So 4th and 9 here for St. Louis Park.
So it's Giovanelli and Wilson out there one-on-one.
Rolling right. Flag is down on the play. Elfman wrapped up by Smith and pushed back. 2 flags right in the middle where you might expect to see holding. I don't know if they're thrown for the same infraction, 2 different people seeing it.
I'm thinking it's a hold, Jay.
Yeah, and I think it'll be declined obviously by Armstrong here.
Yeah. Well, as you said, what a nice stop by the Armstrong defense, because that turnover was deep in their end. Could have given St. Louis Park a little bit of life there, but wasn't to be.
Yeah, they got left side of the line, kind of a wrap up there a little bit, and not much developed out of that play anyway, really. So Armstrong getting the stop that they needed there, and their offense gets the ball back. They've been superb today, but a couple of turnovers that haven't, including on that last drive. And off here going to Carter, and well defended, not much of a gain there.
Yeah, a little different formation that time from Armstrong. With Malone in the backfield, you got the 2 backs back there with him that time.
And based on that success or lack of it, we might not see that again right away.
We may
right?
not. We may not. Yeah, I think they brought Johnson in.
Yeah,
as the extra back that time.
Malone looking to throw here, and it's intercepted.
That's Bendixson.
Walking right in is Bendixson for the touchdown.
How about that? How about that? And Malone didn't even, well, we'll see it again, I'm sure, but it was like he went right to Bendixson. They were just playing catch. Unreal. Well, Armstrong in kind of a giveaway mood early in the second half here, Jay.
Well, we talked about, you can't be thinking the game's over here with that big halftime lead, and it seemed like a longer than normal halftime as well. So you come back out and you're feeling a little rusty early to begin the third quarter.
Right. And I was actually thinking, now if you're Coach Foster on the St. Louis Park side, what are you telling your guys? What are you? I'll have to ask him later what kind of a talk, but hey, this extra point, right back in this thing. They don't have enough guys on the field here.
Giovanelli directing as Hager limps his way back out there. Giovanelli telling me got to have a chin strap buckled here. Yeah. Yep, delay a game on the Orioles. To be honest, though, I think it's better to have that than rush into a play that gets stopped because you guys aren't ready.
Right.
And I don't know if you burn a timeout on a 2-point play necessarily. I would say maybe that's not a bad thing to not use that either.
Right. I don't think you do. In this particular case, you never know. And we kind of saw that mini comeback in that Cooper-Benilde game. You want to save your timeouts. We got Giovanelli under center here.
He's going to roll left here and fires, and that is short of the mark as he was taking a hit from college. So incomplete on the pass.
Looks like he was trying to go to Kaplan maybe on that, but yeah, well short.
Another look, here's that pick. Yeah, 19-yard return for Bendixson.
And Bendixson just says thank you, huh? I mean, right there, wow. Right to him. Like they were going for a little bit of a hitch, but Bendixson was staring it down.
Yeah, it almost looked like he did a nice job selling that he was going to go out to the outside, and then he just pivoted back in.
And got back into play, yep. Coach Foster gives him a nice little bump there.
It is interesting, and I'm not defending that throw by Malone, but you see a lot of times that, a quarterback, it's not as easy as it looks to see all those defensive guys from various angles coming at you. You're knowing where your receiver is going to be. You're kind of looking at him, and then all of a sudden there's somebody that maybe is in not quite the spot you expected them to be defensively.
It's not. I can as a old quarterback, I can tell you it is not easy.
Here's Tucker on the return for the Falcons. Tucker's dangerous, breaks a tackle, gets a block, down the sideline he goes. Tucker bouncing away and then just brought down as Benishek with a saving tackle. We do have a flag on the play way across the field. This might be coming back.
Boy, a great block at the end there too. I mean, he did a lot of it on his own, changing direction and sticking his foot in the ground, jump cuts, etc. But a really good block by Cotton there at the end to almost bring him into the end zone.
There's a flag way back, and it's going to be interesting to see. This might be on the St. Louis Park bench. There was what appeared to be a blindside block, and I think that's what they're upset about. Now, I thought the block occurred way more on this side, so the flag probably isn't for that, but we'll see. It could be on, well, we'll not keep debating here and let them make the call, but I know a Park coach ran onto the field.
And Coach Foster's body language is not great right now, Jay. So he's looking a little disappointed here, so I'm not sure. Pleading his case here a little bit.
Yeah, I saw what I think they're angry about. It looked like there might have been one of those blindside decleater kind of blocks, and I think they were upset that apparently wasn't flagged.
Okay. On the bench.
Yeah, it's against. So they were so upset about the non-call that they came on the field. So it is against Park. They do not call the block that we might be seeing right about. I don't know where if we'll catch it. Oh yeah, right there.
Right there. Unsportsmanlike on their bench.
Yeah, so that block was either not seen or considered deemed legal, and I'm not so sure that it was illegal. I don't know. He wasn't completely facing back toward the end goal or anything. So.
I thought he maybe got his helmet around there.
Yeah. So the penalty against the St. Louis Park bench, Armstrong will have it right about the 10, first and goal. Malone handing to Carter, breaking past the first wave. Helfman wrapped him up. Brings him down after a gain of 2, maybe 3.
You know, the other thing I've been very impressed with Carter, Jay, he can run inside, he can run outside, and he's always going, as coaches like to say, he's always going forward, always going downhill.
Yeah, for a guy with that kind of speed, he's run a little, more physical than you'd think by looking at him. And there he just walks in through a big gap. Give that one mainly to the O-line, but Carter will be the guy who gets credit for it as he trots in for a 7-yard touchdown.
And their O-line really has been, for the better part of this game, having their way with the St. Louis Park D-line, that's for sure. Got to give a lot of credit to that O-line from Armstrong. A relatively young O-line, too, by the way.
4th touchdown today for Carter, as Berg will come on to attempt the extra point. And he puts it through, so Falcons scoring less than a minute after St. Louis Park's touchdown on the interception return to put the lead at 48-19 now.
That's been a little bit of a trend today, hasn't it? I mean, when St. Louis Park does score, a lot of times here comes Armstrong. Maybe the next play, the next 2 plays, they answer. That's quite the good quality to have.
Good work up front. Mitchell McDyer getting a good block there, among others. We try to, best as possible, tell you who's doing some good work on the O-line. It's not obviously the most easy thing to watch from the stands or on TV even, to be picking that out, but try to give those guys a little love occasionally too.
Right, they're the unsung, definitely. When it comes to football, O-line, D-line, that's where it's at.
Berg kicking off here. Amels will come back and take it on about the 6. Got a right return here, and he breaks through the first wave down the sideline. Steps through a tackle, and he is going to go for a touchdown.
Look at that.
No flags on the play, and the big plays continue.
Talk about answering, huh, Jay? You know, didn't even break stride, and actually wasn't really able to show that kind of breakaway speed until this play. You know, he's been definitely a valuable cog in that Oriole offense. Just a real valuable player all over the field, but wow, showed some breakaway speed. Again, I thought the Armstrong guy had an angle, as we talked about Carter earlier in the game, and almost just broke away.
3 touchdowns in a 1-minute span here.
The fireworks continue here in Robbinsdale. Plymouth, I'm sorry.
Giovanelli faking the handoff, and boy, he was right at the goal line, but didn't quite get there. It looked like he was going to make it, but he was kind of a little bit upright there. Didn't really get the pads lowered, and he just stopped just short.
He needed one of those O-line guys or whatever, Jay, to push him through like we talked about earlier, but there wasn't anyone there.
Another look at this return as Amels coming up to field it and gets to the outside, and boy, there just weren't as many people there as you would hope if you're Armstrong.
No, I didn't see a lot of, I mean, with all due respect to the Orioles, I didn't see a lot of great blocks there. He just kind of, outran the tacklers, if you will.
Maybe not quite the lane, staying in the lane as well as you'd like if you're the Falcons. It just didn't seem like they have. At the very least, you want to make him have to cut it away, move back toward the middle, cut away back from the sideline. But
right, lane integrity, right?
That's the word I was looking for, Joe. Tangleson will kick it off here. 48-25, Armstrong, our score. Going to be a returnable kick here. Tucker.
And here we go.
Tucker back the other direction. He might go all the way. And he will.
I think he's going to.
Oh, my goodness. What a game back and forth. Oh, there is a flag down way back at the 25. More than one, actually.
Yeah, there was one at about the 48.
Yep.
I was scanning, and just real cursory scanning there, but yeah.
Block in the back against the Falcons. So wipe out an apparent touchdown kickoff return for Marquand Tucker there. Instead, they'll be back in their own territory. Yeah, I don't think that's the one they called, though, because these flags were way back.
Behind the play.
Behind that.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, wow, they're way back at the 15, so that obviously couldn't have been the penalty. That they threw a flag much earlier in the return that we didn't quite see. We'll get another longer look at it. Right out there must have been. Huh.
Back to the option game again.
Yeah, here's Carter taking the pitch. Carter getting to the edge. Wow, for a moment it looked like he was going to go. And instead they'll have to settle for about a 20-yard run there, maybe 19.
You know, I keep waiting for St. Louis Park to make a little bit of an adjustment against this option game, but maybe they have, and maybe just Armstrong's blocking it so well. But I don't know, boy. That's been quite the go-to play today for Armstrong.
So Harek is injured down on the sideline here. He's on the Armstrong sideline. And at first I didn't notice him when they were stopping play because the view was kind of blocked by the Armstrong players. And
no, I didn't see him either.
He's in some pain for sure. You can just kind of see that stomach and chest heaving up and down. You know that feeling where you could tell he was almost, just in so much pain that he was. All right, he was able to get up and be helped out. That's awesome. And Coach Foster giving him a little clap there as well.
Yeah.
Good to see that, as Dion not feeling the best at the moment, but at least able to get up and walk to his sideline here.
Yeah, it's good that he's moving under his own power.
By the way, this Carter carry here unofficially putting him over 200 yards on the day, as there you get a look at the tackle right at the end. And I don't know if he maybe got kicked in the stomach possibly,
or maybe the way he hit the turf there, Jay. I'm not sure. Yeah, definitely kind of holding the stomach there.
So at the 35 now, again, Carter, my very unofficial stats, I don't claim to be perfect on him by any means, but I have him for going over 200 yards on that last carry, and this time Johnson getting the handle, and he will have another nice gainer there as well, as he gets about 9 or so.
Yeah, basically just, again, big on big blocking there, nothing too fancy, right up the gut for Johnson.
Yeah, and if you're St. Louis Park, obviously the big plays you don't like, but also there's just been too many 7s and 8s and 9s on just relatively simple running plays for Armstrong. Although not that time, wow. Big stop up front for the Orioles by Henry Eaton.
Yeah, Henry was right there to meet him on that play, almost beat the handoff back there. Henry right on the nose there.
It was like he was hearing what I was saying, and we'll change that right now. So 3rd and a couple now here for Armstrong. They would just like to put together a drive here, whether it has points or not, but the turnovers probably not leaving a very good taste in their mouth here for the second half. Carter not quite going to get there, is he? Or maybe he will. Yes, he will. He just crossed the 45, and that was enough for the first down. At first I didn't think that he had gotten quite that distance, but we'll pick it up.
And as you mentioned, that ends up being a kind of a nice little first down for Armstrong. Keeps the clock going. I mean, they've got definitely the score on their side and just want to run some clock here.
Carter with another big run. Bendixson chopping him down, but he'll pick up another 10 or so. Another first down. Yeah, you have the feeling right now that if you're Armstrong, you'd sort of just like to wind this one and just kind of finish it off, even if you don't score anymore. Just the way the game's been kind of weird back and forth, you don't want to let Park back in it. And,
right.
if you're the Falcons, I mean, you can't be disappointed when you have 48 points, but at the same time, those turnovers, I think, coaches are always kind of looking for as close as you can get to a perfect game. So those things will kind of bug them a little bit, because if you don't value the ball, the farther you get into the playoffs where you're playing a team that maybe has just as much ability as you can't afford to do that.
Well, that's right. And again, we talked about it earlier, I think in the first half. It's all about, coaches talk a lot about finishing. Finish. And, That's kind of the mantra, I think, right now for Armstrong. And they're able to, they're able to kind of have their way, and except for the one play earlier, they, able to run the ball well against the Orioles.
A little pop pass there to Tucker, and he will have another first down. Got about 10 more on that one. I think they'll probably technically consider that a pass as a forward toss there,
right,
even though it's only about a foot.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Jay. That's a forward pass.
So at the 29 here of St. Louis Park, Armstrong kind of a more conventional drive, not all huge plays, just running it. And here's Johnson finishing strong there. Nice tackle by Falzone, although he ended up on his back as the back got into his chest a little bit there, Johnson.
Yeah, but again, I think just as you mentioned, this becomes kind of a grinder game for Armstrong here. And also, probably no reason to put the ball in Malone's hands either and risk an injury to your starting quarterback. Although, here we go.
He rolls out and he's in some trouble and then lost. Well, it got forward to Johnson. And I guess it'll be a completion, but they'll lose yardage on the play.
Yeah, Malone took a little bit of a lick there.
That's one where I think you'd like him to just throw this away, but he actually almost really didn't have time to even do that.
He didn't. The play's coming from there's foul. Is that foul zone, I believe? And TJ Brayboy coming in there, a sophomore, kind of cleaning up.
3rd and long. Now Malone in some trouble. Gets away though, and here he goes. Malone makes a cut and another. And he will have the first down as the Orioles try and ride him down here. All the way down to about the 10-yard line there. Damon Malone.
Yeah, he looked trapped there for a minute there, didn't he, Jay? And then he just keeps his eyes downfield and does a really good job changing direction.
Falzone had pressure and they knocked him down, and I want to say good no call by the official there. A lot of times when you see when the guy gets, pushed down like that, they'll think it's a hold, but it really wasn't.
Right.
Johnson makes a nice cut, makes a man miss. And let's see, is he in? Yes, touchdown. Nice finish to that run by Johnson. I thought he was going to get some, but not all of that 10 yards he needed, but he's able to get in.
Yeah, and at first it actually looked like for the first time that the Orioles might have had this thing defended, but Johnson was able to shirk that tackler and get in.
So Berg on to attempt yet another extra point here. And he booms it through.
Berg getting a lot of reps here, Jay.
Yes, he definitely is. 55-25. Another look as the pitch was a little behind him, but right there is a great move. Yeah. But then I like the way he finished this run, too. There were a couple of people there.
I did, too. And that's a young man. No disrespect there at all. But young man just, for the Orioles, just kind of overran the play there a little bit. And Johnson found pay dirt. This is where you might want to think about maybe bringing in your backup quarterback possibly next year. We'll see, Jay. See what they do when they get the ball next time. Of course, if the Orioles run this kickoff back.
Which we did see not too long ago here.
Sometimes the other team just doesn't cooperate.
And he's going to boot this one on the ground. Let's see, does it get to the end zone? No, it stops at the 1. So Amos picks it up, and he is in some trouble. I thought he made the right move by waiting to see if it was going to go in the end zone, and then when it didn't, I was like, uh-oh.
Boy, it just died there. It literally just died. Yeah, I thought he did too. The line drive kick like that, those are the ones that if you can have a guy in the right spot, you want to return that because you get the ball so quickly. But they really didn't have anybody there to field it.
I think we may have had a penalty here, though, against Armstrong, a face mask on that tackle. Well, that doesn't help their cause. It looked like they had him pinned back real deep, but
Armstrong's had a few penalties here today.
Yeah, we talked about turnovers, and then now probably a few more penalties than they would like as well. But so Orioles will get it at their 22. Hager taking that handoff, trying to break free. Hanging on was Albrecht.
Nice hard run by Hagar there to pick up about 5. You know, it looks to me, too, the way Giovanelli handles himself, it looks like maybe back in the day he played a little quarterback, Jay. He's pretty smooth handling that football.
Yeah, he's been their quarterback most this year.
Yeah.
Giovanelli getting to the edge here, trying to cut it back, and he's going to be stacked up. Bring up a 3rd and about 5 here for the Orioles. They've done some good things today, but just overall haven't been able to match the consistently big plays and small plays, I guess, for Armstrong.
There's maybe too many weapons on the Armstrong side, I think, Jay. And the Orioles really only have pretty much the one weapon in number 6.
Elfman set to take the snap here. And looking, and is able to hit Jeremy Eichten. And he should have enough for the first down, it would appear here.
Yeah, nice little pitch and catch right there from Elfman to Eichten.
So first down for the Orioles at their 34-yard line. Another one where they used Giovanelli to kind of clear out. A lot of attention went with him.
I'm sure.
And then Eichten underneath. Elfman swinging it out. Kaplan with the catch there, and he is chopped down by Albrecht.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the strategy right now. You've got Giovanelli clearing out, and then they're throwing underneath in the short game. And, yeah. Again, maybe the makings of a good little drive here by the Orioles. Elfman under center this time.
And off to Hager here, trying to pick his way through. Pappas on the stop, but he is going to be out over the 45 and pick up the first down with these there.
Yeah, I guess to move the sticks here, but
boy, he's been hobbling on and off all day.
Yeah, he really has. He really has. He's kind of showing a pretty good warrior attitude. Just to, he goes out and then for a couple plays, then back in there, showing some real grit, I think.
They're going to get a 3-4 then play.
Elfman will hand off to Bendixson this time. Good surge forward. Smith on the stop, but he'll pick up another 4 or so. As we go under a minute to play in this third quarter. It's been a long game, the first quarter especially, with all of these points we've had back and forth and a fair amount of penalties mixed in. And
yeah, it seemed like the first and the third quarter were kind of on the long side. Maybe the fourth quarter will go a little quicker, Jay.
Second down, 6 to go here for St. Louis Park. Play action here. Helfman looking toward Giovanelli. Now he comes back to get it. There is a flag down on the play. And the stop at the 30. I wonder if Giovanelli didn't go out of bounds.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. See what we're going to have for a call here. I may be wrong about this, but we actually have two different flags. There's one back more toward the middle of the field as well. Ineligible receiver downfield.
Okay. So we got a possible lineman downfield then.
Yeah. And either the flags were both for the same thing, or the other official said, well, they've already got that one. I'm not going to go bother telling them. I think it must have been the first, though, that there was just the penalty on the lineman downfield.
And there goes the quarter.
So we have reached the end of 3. Armstrong up by 30 as they try and advance back to the Section 5 final. 55-25 Falcons. We'll be right back here on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Welcome back here. Armstrong leading St. Louis Park 55-25 after 3 quarters here in this Section 5A semifinal. Had a little bit of everything in this one. Tons of big plays and turnovers here and there.
Penalties.
Yeah. Kick return for a touchdown for St. Louis Park that almost was answered almost immediately by Armstrong with one, but they had that one called back on a penalty.
I saw a longtime O-line coach, Clint Ewald, talking to a couple of his O-line guys, and at least one of those was probably the perpetrator there, Jay, of being downfield.
2nd and 11 after that penalty here for St. Louis Park.
Tell them to be slower.
Helfman dropping the throw, now looking over the middle, and it's complete. Amos will have the first down as he just puts his foot in the ground and gets upfield to about the 40.
Nice job. Nice middle screen by the Orioles. Screen game not easy to always work out, and yeah, just a nice job of doing the middle screen by the Orioles on that one. Really set that up nicely. The quarterback set that up nicely.
Helfman will hand off here, and some room to go a little bit there for Mason Helfman, a freshman and presumably brother of Zach. Don't know that for a fact, but I'm thinking probably so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got about 7 on that play. You know, you might say St. Louis Park, we're down 30, why are they not hurrying more? But I like the fact that you can't get away from who you are trying to come back. I mean, it's a long road back, but saying that, well, we need to sprint up to the line and sling the ball all over the place, I don't think would do them any good at this point.
No, I agree.
And they're going to go back here to Mason Helfman, and look at him go as he's got a couple nice runs in a row here.
Yeah, he's a hard runner, isn't he? Really hard runner. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, you keep as you said, you keep who you are, and have a bit of a sense of urgency here. Of course, you don't have to spend forever in the huddle, but if you're not a tempo team, then that's just you got to be who you are.
And this time, nowhere to go as Kempel shoots through and takes Mason Helfman down for a loss.
Yeah, the linebacking core for Armstrong, I think, is real strong, and they've been able to, particularly sometimes after some Oriole, chunks of yardage running the football, they turn to those linebackers and basically blitz the gaps and kind of slow that offense down for the Orioles.
Make it a 2nd and 14 now for Park after that stop by Kemple. College coming in on the rush, wrapping him up. Now he gets the way to his brother there, Mason Helfman, and they'll get about 3 yards or so out of that. Helfman showing his strength there to not be sacked.
Yeah, and keep that play alive. A little creativity by the Helfmans there.
College is thinking, dang, I had a sack there, and he stayed up long enough to get rid of it.
Seems like every Armstrong game, at least I do with you, Jay, College is a name that we call a fair amount. College is in on a lot of plays from that DN position.
Yeah, rangy, 6'5", 210. Gets up the field in a hurry. Here he comes again. Uh-oh. And this one nearly picked off. Cordell Wilson. It wasn't anywhere near a receiver. Wilson read that one well and almost got there.
Yeah, I don't know, a little miscommunication there between Helfman and I don't know if that was probably Giovanelli. Giovanelli was running the 9 route and Helfman threw the out route.
And again, College was getting there to put pressure on. Might have made him hurry that one a little bit too. It's going to be 4th down and 12 here for St. Louis Park.
College only a junior as well, Jay.
And I think the Orioles are going to use a timeout. Yes, they are.
Might have been getting late in the clock there, I'm not sure. There's Coach Foster and his staff still coaching them up. That's good. That's a good sign. And on the Armstrong side, the same thing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get the take of Armstrong here today because they did so many things well, but then, a few of the mistakes here and there, I'm sure that they're not going to come in and just pat the guys all on the back and say great job on everything either. And that's, I don't think many staffs work that way anyway either. I mean, you don't want to be overly negative all the time, but at the same time, that's part of coaching players up is pointing out mistakes too.
That's right. That's right.
So here we go with 4th and long for Park. Elfman deep drop. College gets to him, and this time he's going to be able to get him down and get that sack. And the Falcons will take over on downs.
And there's that man again, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Able to beat his guy off the edge, and good job wrapping up. This time, another thing he did pretty well there is he kind of wrapped his arms up so he couldn't still, fling a pass out of there.
Right, get something off. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and back to your point about Armstrong and what doing. I think one of the things that you really, really have to watch is penalties. I know we talked a little bit about them, but usually the more penalized teams are not the teams you see, in the semis or the finals or whatever.
Dawson Franke coming in at quarterback here to replace Malone with this 30-point lead. They'll keep it on the ground. Carter still in there at least for the moment here, and he'll pick up about 7.
Looks like he's coming out now, Jay. Maybe Johnson's going. Yeah, there's Johnson. Yeah. Carter's had quite a day, hasn't he?
Boy, I'll say.
My goodness. Again, I just love the way the young man picks. He's got the great eyesight too. Great eyesight.
Little toss out to Johnson, and here he goes. This one might be a touchdown. Looks like it will be. Johnson will score from 60 yards out.
Wow, he showed quite the motor there, didn't he? I mean, he turned the jets on as well. He was gone.
So
my goodness.
He gets his second touchdown in relief of Carter, who had a mere 4 touchdowns. And wow.
I know. Yeah.
It was interesting. Oh, there's a nice pancake block. I was watching the quarterback, Franke, and after about 10 yards, his hands went up in the air. He was like, he's going to go.
He knew, right? Yeah, and that block on the outside, I wish I could have caught that. Now he took 2 Orioles down with him on that block on the edge to free up Johnson.
Berg's extra point is good, and so now 62-25 Falcons.
Okay.
Another look as Johnson to the outside. And it, kind of a double team block there that helped free it up.
I got Anton Schlimgen on that, a 10th grader. I thought number 85. Yeah, that was quite the block. Took 2 Orioles with him. I don't think the Orioles have helmet stickers, but if they did, I think he would get one on that play. And I think we're in the zone now of the 35-point rule, right, Jay? I believe. I wasn't a math major, but I think we are.
I think so, but I'll be shocked if they actually do it. I've seen so many games where the officials don't realize and they just don't. So
okay,
I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
No, now he does wind the clock. Yep, they are keeping it going. So good. I'm wrong, and I appreciate that they were on top of it.
You bet.
Orioles will have it on the 15. Zach Helfman is still at quarterback here. He'll keep it himself, and not much room to run there.
Zach Helfman's going to sleep very well tonight, I think, Jay. He's been workhorse on both sides of the ball for the Orioles here today.
Kemple checking out. Armstrong had still some of their starters, but now Dickerson and Kemple. I think they put him out there so that they could get a hand when they came off, actually, to be honest, when they were subbed in for.
I think you're right.
Elfman throwing. Giovanelli makes the first man miss, and now cutting it up the sideline and forced out of bounds here.
Coach Foster probably going to let his seniors play this thing out a little bit. Let them have their last plays in an Oriole uniform.
Third and about 3 here for Park. Helfman will hand it off. Mason Helfman, some room to run up the middle. He's had a couple, 2-3 nice runs since coming into the backfield there.
He has. He has had a couple of nice little runs. Did you say he was a freshman,
yeah.
Jay? Yeah. Well, the future looks good there for the Orioles.
Under 5 to play now. There you see some of the happy Armstrong guys going to celebrate a W and get ready for a rematch with Cooper. Oof, Mason Helfman tripped up kind of awkwardly there.
He did go down awkwardly on that one. Got Jonah Pappas out of the game now. I think we pretty much have the Armstrong starters out, Jay.
Yeah, I would. At this point, you probably better not even thinking about the score, but so much just to have them ready and not get dinged up late.
Exactly.
Be ready for next week. Elfman looking deep downfield, a collision flag down, and this will be a penalty against Armstrong, although it might have been possibly a touchdown saving penalty as Jacob Newberger got tangled up there with Giovanelli.
You can understand that happiness, huh? Great smile, Kevin Johnson.
So it is indeed a pass interference call against Armstrong, and obviously in high school ball now they spot foul though, so not all the way down where the contact occurred, but they will still be in good position at the 46 of Armstrong.
From the Falcon 46, first and 10, Orioles.
Elfman firing and incomplete. Kaplan was trying to look where he was going to go before he quite reeled that one in.
Yeah, don't leave home without it, as they say. Yeah.
We got another flag down here. They're going to stop the clock for that.
Yeah, well behind the play. What do we have here, I wonder?
Might be a personal foul type situation. A couple plays ago, Zach Johnson, 77 for Park, was blocking pretty late on a play, and I saw an official talking to him, and I'm wondering if we maybe didn't have the same thing again.
Right. And he was one of the young men that Coach Ewald was talking to as well, Jay, when we had the quarter switch over. So, not surprised.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, maybe we have one on each. Oh. So dead ball foul is what after the play, basically. So the down will count. Yeah, and I think they kind of gave him one warning. On one, as I was saying earlier, he kind of kept blocking a little bit longer after a play there, and then it looks like he did so again. I mean, it was way back there. It was hard to, we weren't really watching anymore back at that point, but nice long throw across the field there to Teddy Dolan.
That takes some arm strength, Jay.
I'll tell you what, that's a very long throw.
That really is. That is a lot longer throw than you would normally you think. That's a big time throw right there.
So it'll be third and about 12 here for Park. Ticking down toward 3 minutes to play in this one. Armstrong's going to win and improve to 7-2 and play for a section championship against Cooper again as they did last year. Deep down the middle of the field, Dolan's got it. And he will be brought down Giovanelli's got it. He'll be down inside the 10.
I had a feeling that'd be going to Giovanelli before we get out of here, Jay.
Right.
At least one more time.
I always kind of don't like this, though. When the team that's whipping you puts in their subs, put in your subs too. And it never happens. And maybe every football coach listening disagrees with me, but I don't know.
Well,
they've called off the dogs against you. You probably should call off your ones against their twos, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the only exception, and again, not defending Coach Fott, but I think he wants to give his seniors maybe one last gasp. They know they're not going to win the game. So.
Right, and believe me, every team does it. So
sure.
Maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's just the feeling I had, especially when we saw on the lineman blocking late on a play against the guy that he outweighs by 100 pounds. Too.
Right. And I think if this was a regular season game, oh, for sure.
You might be right.
You know.
Elfman firing. Giovanelli, nice catch. Is he in the end zone? Maybe not quite. Now they're going to spot him just short. He made a really nice catch on that ball, kind of a one-hander in his body there, and then they were able to grab him though and keep him out of the end zone.
Yeah, for a moment there, I thought it looked like he was. I think he's kind of lobbying for that right now.
Yeah, the pass was deflected. Oh, I think his front foot was probably in, but maybe not the ball. I think that might be the right call. And the snap is bobbled. Helfman keeps going, though, and he's going to get in for the touchdown anyway.
Yeah. Just sheer brute strength right there.
Yeah, you know, kind of getting out some frustration there a little bit, too, I think. He's like, I am not going down here. I don't care if I drop the ball or...
Right.
You know, good finish on the run there for him.
I'm not going to be denied, right?
Exactly. Elfman throwing for Giovanelli again, not quite able to bring it in as he ran into traffic there.
Yeah, and the ball was a little bit behind him on that one. I'm a little bit surprised that Helfman can even raise his arms to throw the football. And he made that incredible crossfield pass earlier in the series. My goodness.
There's a look at Helfman, determined run here. Look at him keeping the legs going. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. No quitting that kid, huh?
No, that's for sure. Yeah, and you're right about getting the seniors to play. I didn't want to, make it sound like they were doing a bad thing by leaving those guys out there either.
Yeah.
But
I think that's got to be what he's. Like I said, I think if they were getting whipped during the regular season, I think he'd have his subs in for sure. Well, what a nice luxury though for Armstrong, huh, to be able to play your twos and possibly threes for maybe almost a whole quarter.
You know, if Park would be looking onside here, really no reason to at this point, but. And let's see, that one will get to the end zone for a touchback, so Armstrong presumably will just either one handoff or kneel down, or maybe two.
Yeah, I would say victory formation, but we'll see. Of course, the one thing is with your twos and or threes, you're not sure if they know how to get into victory formation. You might just want to hand the ball off.
Oh, they're just going to start or have the clock run here anyway. That's right.
Here we go.
Won't even need to run another play here. So Armstrong will get their 7th victory of the season. A wild game here, and the Falcons will win it by a score of 62-31. And they will get set to face their Robbinsdale District rival Cooper again in the section final coming up on Friday. We'll take a timeout and come back and hear from the Falcons in just a moment here. Again, your final 62-31 Armstrong. Welcome back to Armstrong. The Falcons win their first playoff game this year in convincing fashion over St. Louis Park, 62-31. And Reggie Carter joins us today, just one of many who had a great day, over 200 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. How much fun was today for the Falcons offense especially?
It feels good. The past few weeks, we haven't been playing too well. It's good to, get our confidence back, and hopefully we can make a run.
Yeah, after that 6-0 start, a couple of losses to end the regular season. But what did you guys talk about coming into the playoffs to kind of regroup and get your momentum back?
Just kind of the win or go home mentality. We had to just play our game. We know we got guys that can show up, show out. Big guys doing their thing. It's just fun.
Tell me about your O-line today. I mean, obviously they opened a lot of holes for you and Jamin and just the whole works.
Yeah, they've been locked in all week. We looked good all week. They're healthy. Not much to say. They performed.
St. Louis Park early on made some big plays against you. Did that guys kind of open everybody's eyes and say, okay, we need to lock in and kind of put this one away?
A little bit, yeah. Times, we had a few turnovers, but overall, I was confident we can end the game.
Get a rematch with Cooper the first time around. Things went about as well as could be expected for you guys, but what's the rematch going to look like, you feel like?
They're playing a lot better than they were at the beginning of the year. It should be a game, but, in the end, if we play our game, I feel we'll come out on top.
All right, Reggie, congratulations on the win here, and have fun next Friday.
Thank you.
All right, Reggie Carter, great game for Armstrong as the Falcons put 62 on the board here to beat St. Louis Park 62-31. Again, they're now 7-2 and will host Cooper in that section championship game coming up next Friday. Hope you've enjoyed this one here from Armstrong High School. For Joe Basil and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. So long from Armstrong.